and welcome to another running vlog. Although today it can be more accurately described as a not running vlog, because you may have noticed that I am not wearing my running gear. Actually, this is a running hat, but other than that, I am not wearing running stuff, and there's a good reason for it. I am afraid to say that I have injured myself. Yes, it's true, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on, so stay tuned. But first of all, I want to reflect on last week's video. Now, if you didn't see it, don't worry, I will be recapping, and there is a link to it in the video description below, and at the very end of this video there'll be a thumbnail link to last week's video there, so no excuses, you can definitely watch it. I was talking though, I'll recap, I was talking about fitness and rather the sort of lack of it. I've been running regularly since 2018, but prior to that I hadn't done all that much in the way of exercise. I might have given the impression in last week's video that I spent all of those years leading up to doing Couch to 5k just sort of lying on the ground and somebody randomly dropping pieces of food into my mouth occasionally. But that's not true. I did, of course, move about, and my kind of choice of exercise was walking. I've always enjoyed walking, and before I got my dogs, I would go out, because now I got the dogs, go out, take the dogs for a walk. But before that, I would just go out and walk for the sheer hell of it, just to get some fresh air. So when I used to commute to work and didn't work for myself from home as I do now, which has suddenly become trendy, have you noticed all of a sudden? Why is that? Anyway, I used to commute to work and I'd go out for a bit of a walk during the lunchtime, rain or shine, and just kind of walk about, and I suppose I got some sort of residual fitness of some description by doing that, because I can remember before my wife and I got married, so she was my girlfriend at the time, that's how it works, and we were in North Wales for a few days, and we walked up Snowdon. We walked up a mountain. You don't climb up Snowdon, it's not that sort of mountain, but we walked up Snowdon. Now, you don't do that, yes, Snowdon's not a very big mountain, but it's still a mountain, and you don't do that unless you've got a little bit of fitness in there somewhere. So that's quite good. I seem to remember it was an hour less coming down than it was going up. Gravity's wonderful for going down a mountain rather than going up it. So yeah, so I did a bit of walking, and I think that was probably good for me. However, it doesn't elevate the heart rate as much as you would wish to, perhaps, if you want to do kind of regular exercise, if you see what I mean. So that's sort of what I meant. But the exercise I was doing was okay, but it could be better. So the other thing I was talking about was kind of related to that, which was why didn't I do much in the way of exercise? And I put the blame very much on PE teachers, or the PE teachers that I had going back along. The PE teachers I had gave me no encouragement to do any kind of sporting anything, really. They were just rubbish, and watch last week's video if you want to know why. There was a very isolated example where I did have a teacher for a while who was quite encouraging, but 95% of my PE life back then was just awful. And judging by the comments, which I'll come back to again later, some of you had very similar experiences. So that's what I was talking about last week. But there was something, and another example I wanted to give that I didn't have time. Last week's video was turning into something. It was as long as Citizen Kane, last week's video, so I didn't really have time to kind of bang on very much with more examples. So I've got another example really of where a PE experience that kind of, you know, that just sort of solidified what was going on, and just another example of how bad PE was for me back then, and lots of people of my era. And you may remember in last week's video I mentioned that my dad had been training up to change career, and that happened. So we had to, he got a new job, and we had to move across the country to a new place when he took up that new job. And that meant that I had to change schools, unsurprisingly. And when I went to this new school, the sport that they were playing was hockey. Now, up until then, I'd only ever done like football, cricket, rugby, maybe a bit of athletics in the summer. That's kind of what the school did. I'd never played hockey, had no idea of any of the rules, nothing. I did not understand hockey at all. So I went up to the teacher before the lesson and I said, I'm the new kid, I don't know how to play this game, can you tell me how it works? And the teacher said, no, go outside, you'll pick it up. Great. So there I was going to have to go out, play hockey for the very first time, and I was going to have to learn the rules by looking around and seeing what the other kids were doing. Let's turn around and go back the other way. Traffic. So that wasn't very good. Now, what I did then was to play a bit of hockey and to work out the rules of the game. And this is what I think the rules of hockey are based on that very first experience. So before you go out, all of the kids are given a wooden stick. We'll call that the hockey bat. Now, I don't know whether that's what it's actually called because the teacher didn't bother to tell me. Then everybody is split up into teams. Now, I don't know how many teams. I'm guessing that it's probably 2, but it could be 10. I really don't know. I was trying to count people while I was out playing. They're all running about. I gave up. So there are at least 2 teams, maybe more. I don't know. The teacher didn't tell me. And when you get out onto the field, there is a kind of umpire, referee type person. We'll call them the hockey judge. Again, I've no idea if that's what they're actually called because the teacher didn't tell me. Now, this is how the game works as far as I could work out while we were playing it. If the hockey judge is looking in your general direction, then you have to take your hockey bat and you have to kind of waft it around at the ground level. And I don't know really why you do that. I couldn't work that out. I'm not sure whether perhaps you were just trying to keep the grass short. Perhaps you were trying to decapitate moles. Perhaps you were trying to scoop up worms into the beaks of low-flying gulls. I really don't know what it was. I'd never quite worked out what that was about. But here's the crucial part. When the hockey judge is looking away, you have to take your hockey bat and you have to strike people on the ankles who are within any distance from you, really close to you. Strike them as hard as you can around the ankles, inflicting as much pain and damage as possible until such time as the hockey judge is looking your way again, and then you start wafting your hockey bat around at the ground. That's how you do it. Now, the game carries on, as far as I could see, until either everybody has been stretchered off or the hockey judge blows the whistle, at which point all of the kids traipse off to the nurse, the school nurse, to have their wounds attended to. That seems to be how hockey works. I mean, I don't know whether that's right or not. I may have had some of those details wrong. I'm not sure about them. I did watch some hockey some years later when it was in the Olympics, and it was on the television, and I did have a feeling when I was watching it that maybe, just maybe, I've got some of those facts back to front. I might not be 100% on them, but that's how I thought it probably worked. But it's another example of where the PE teacher couldn't be bothered, so I lost any interest that I might have had in the game of hockey almost immediately because they couldn't be bothered to tell me how to play it. If you're interested in any of those other examples, because I said more examples that I give in last week's video, then do check out link in the video description below. But coming next, I'm going to be talking injury. Okay, we can put it off no longer. Let's talk injury. And this actually happened after the video that I recorded last week, after the one all about the PE teachers. But I didn't realise it at the time. It wasn't until later on that evening. I was at home because basically that's where we all are now, and I was watching the television. Now, I'd like to claim at this point that I was watching something highbrow on BBC 4, perhaps something about quantum physics or something about the relationship of dark matter on black holes, something like that. But what I was actually watching was The Masked Singer on ITV. Yes, this is what my life has come to, trying to work out whether somebody dressed up as sausage and chips is Sheridan Smith or the Dalai Lama. This is it. It's a strange program really, because they give you these clues that you're never going to work out. It reminded me a bit of, and I'm showing my age here, of a show that used to be on in the 80s, a game show called 3-2-1 with Ted Rogers. Do you remember that? And there used to be clues given out, and every one of the clues used to either be a holiday, a speedboat, or a dustbin. But because the clues were just made no sense at all, you could always find some reason for all of the clues to be either a holiday, a speedboat, or a new dustbin. And people used to leave that show with a dustbin because, frankly, it was just guesswork. It was like a 1 in 5 chance or something of ending up with either a dustbin or a speedboat or a holiday. And kind of the Masked Singer is similar to that. There's all these nonsensical clues that you think afterwards, oh yeah, well that makes sense, but only once you know the answer, really. So I'm watching this show. I can feel my brain cells dying while I'm watching it. And yes, it's strangely compulsive. I can't stop watching it, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, it's what my life has come. This is what's happened. The world's gone mad. Anyway, I digress. I was watching The Masked Singer, and I could feel that my foot was kind of tingling, but not in a good way. And I realised that this wasn't good. I tried to ignore it, but much later on, just before I went to bed, I thought to myself, I better have a look at this. And I could see that my foot had swollen up. And it's kind of, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you might remember when I injured myself when I was training to do my first ever 10K. And I injured my foot down by my ankle bone, to my ankle bone on my heel. And it's the same place. It's the same place, same foot. So I've done the same thing again, really. I've obviously got a weakness there, kind of predisposed, can't say it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that injury. And now that I've got that injury, I'm probably going to do it there, you know, every so often. I've got to be very careful. I've been trying to do strength exercises for the last few months. I've been doing a bit of kind of Pilates and yoga and Tai Chi, so body balance they call it. And I'm sure that's helped. I'm sure it has perhaps built a bit of strength, and maybe that's why I am able to now do what I'm doing now, which is to go for a walk, whereas before I ended up on a crutch. So, but I don't know, because I don't really know. I might not have done any of that, and it might have been the same. So, you know, you don't really know. So I'm going to turn around. So I'm just going for a short walk today, and then I'll go home again. So yeah, so it's a bit of a shame that. You know, I'm really missing running. Of course, when I do go out, or when I'm working in my office and I'm looking out the window, I see somebody run past and oh no, I want to do that. But you know, it is what it is. And let's face it, the way things are at the moment, it could be a lot worse. So I really can't complain. How long will I be out for? I don't really know, to be honest with you. I did all the usual stuff that you should do for an injury at the start, the cold compress and all the usual stuff. And of course, having injured that exact same place before, I kind of know what to do. I had physio last time. I had sports physio I went to see, and so he gave me a load of different exercises and different tips and things. So I'm kind of following all of that. That's all I can do. And yeah, so I am, as you can see, going out, still walking, but obviously not going mad, and certainly no running. So what am I going to do about the running vlogs? I don't know really. I mean, I've been making these videos for regularly, every week releasing a new video now for, must be at least 18 months, probably longer actually. So I kind of want to keep going. What am I going to talk about? I don't know really. I've got a couple of ideas, but we'll see. I imagine at least for the next week, 2, maybe 3, I don't know. These are going to be not running vlogs as opposed to running vlogs, but I'm probably still talk about running in some way, shape or form, in at least some of the videos, if not all. So we'll see what happens. If you've got any ideas of what else I should talk about, please do let me know. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in some form next week. Thanks for watching.